I've been journaling for 6 years with over 1,000 journal entries. It's usually a part of the video where other journaling YouTubers will throw down all of their journals. So I thought I'd do the same. The joke is I've done all of my journaling online, so these are all completely blank. You've been fooled. I'm sorry. Anyways, it was only after integrating these 6 level ups to my journaling practice that it really started to grow my emotional centeredness, my self understanding, and my purposefulness. So, if you're a college freshman who's been journaling off and on but hasn't experienced much change, or you haven't gotten into journaling yet but you want to, this is the video for you. Let's dive into it, starting with the first level up, which is reframe how it is that you see emotional centeredness. One of the biggest insights that helped me in my journaling practice was realizing that we're made of many different parts. These parts all have different motivations for what they want to help us in our life. For example, I have a part of myself. His name's Marcus Aurelius, after the ancient Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius. And this is the part of me that wants to make sure that I'm doing something purposeful, that I'm doing good. But I also have a part of me named Mr. Career. He has a suit made of gold and a whole bunch of money tattoos. And this part is more focused on helping me practically focus on building my career up. So you have parts as well. These parts are all helping you in their own various ways. These parts are not good or bad. They're just trying to help you. Often they're trying to help you in ways that might have worked earlier in your high school or your middle school journey, and they might not work in the context that you're in now. So the art of journaling is, in a sense, navigating your emotions by navigating these parts that are coming up, defining what the various parts of you are, and seeing how you can put them in conversation with each other so that they're not fighting like at a family reunion. Added insight that helps understand this a little better is that external challenges come from internal ones. We tend to think of the obstacles in our life as exactly that, obstacles. But these are obstacles only because we define them as so from our internal relationship to them. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't have any obstacles. I'm not saying, oh, get rid of your entire internal relationship to things as obstacles. What I'm trying to get you to see is that it is foundationally the internal relationship that we have to things which determines the external challenge. Let me give you some examples. Let's say you're getting bad grades on a chemistry test, so you need to study more. The external solution is you study more, obviously. But the internal problem leading to that external challenge is that you have perfectionism, and there's a fear that doing practice tests will actually reveal how little you know. And it's only if you solve that internal challenge that the external one will really get solved at its root. Maybe you're experiencing friendship struggles because your friends won't open up or hang out with you. The external solution is you just need to reach out more. But the internal challenge that might be leading to that is you have emotional armor and you can't be vulnerable. Maybe that's because you had a core wound when you were younger in your life where being vulnerable hurt you, and therefore you've learned that you can't be vulnerable. Otherwise, bad things will happen. And navigating that is what's going to solve the external challenge. Lastly, maybe you're experiencing burnout because it's a hard time of the semester and you think the solution is to rest more or just to do more work. But the internal challenge leading to that external challenge is you have a toxic productivity achievement identity because you don't love yourself as you are. And only if you navigate that does the external challenge get solved. So this is a profoundly different way to see emotional centeredness. No longer is it, I have emotions and they're careening me in different directions, but I don't really understand why. It's, I have emotions that are profoundly affecting my external challenges, and those emotions come from different parts of me trying to help me in different ways. That's a very powerful frame through which you can come to your journaling with. The second level up is reframing how you see self-understanding. Now, the core insight here is that you are not yourself. You are the witness behind self. Pay attention to what I'm saying. As I'm saying this, you're hearing the words come into your awareness, right? You might have thoughts about those words. Hopefully they're not, man, this guy's out there. He's making a weird journaling video. Hopefully they're like, wow, this is cool. I like the things that are coming out of this mouth. You might consciously be thinking some things and think, how could I not be myself? I'm consciously thinking the things that I am right now. But what I want you to notice is that behind all of that, behind all the thinking, all the reactions to what I'm saying, there is a foundational awareness witnessing everything. And that awareness has been with you throughout your entire life. There is not a single moment that you can name where that awareness has not been there, because the awareness is foundational to experiencing anything. If there wasn't an awareness behind everything, then there wouldn't be anything. So you are not the self, you are the witness, witnessing the selfing. And the reason this is so important is because when we don't appreciate this, we survive ourselves unconsciously. We attach to certain forms in consciousness, thinking that they are Aiden, or take your name and then replace it with Aiden. We survive those forms because we are attached to being. Our self is scared of psychologically dying, right? Because if we changed our self in any way, we changed our values, we changed the relationships that we're with, we changed our major, that is, in a sense, yourself dying. And let me give you some examples. I used to be really attached to sunflower butter. I would eat it like all the time, a ridiculous amount. What I didn't realize in the moment is that the reason I was so attached to the sunflower butter is that I was surviving my exercise self. I was exercising so much that I needed a high calorie food in order to sustain myself, and sunflower butter was that. So if I stopped eating sunflower butter, even though I didn't realize it at the time, I would be killing that self that cares so much about exercise, because there's no way that I would be able to do as much exercise without eating some really high calorie food. Maybe for you, it's procrastinating on homework, and you're surviving the self by doing that procrastination, because if you didn't procrastinate, then that procrastination self wouldn't live on. Or maybe it's playing video games. And if you stop playing video games, something else would have to fill in those video games, and that self would no longer be there. Now, I want to point out the self is neither good or bad. It just is. Sort of like with the parts that we talked about earlier, they're trying to help you. The self is trying to help you, survive. So it can do that in a way that helps depending upon the context, or it can do that in a way that doesn't. And the art of journaling change comes when you consciously survive yourself. It's no longer happening without awareness. You're aware of what forms you're attaching to in consciousness to create a sense of coherence, but you're grounded in that witness behind everything, which doesn't have a self. It doesn't have any motivations or relationships or values. It just is witnessing you doing the selfing. And I have a lot of stuff about this in my free cosmic journaling kit for college freshmen, which is a gamified journaling system that helps you do exactly what we're talking about in this video, with over 1,000+ journaling questions and 5+ journaling templates. If you want to get that, it's in the description below. Anyways, the next level up that I want to give is grow your purposefulness. Now, why is purposefulness so powerful, especially for journaling? Because I've talked to a lot of college freshmen, over 50+ at this point, about their relationship to life purpose. And a lot of them say, it's not the time to focus on life purpose right now. I'm focused on working in my major, figuring myself out, and then I'll figure out life purpose a little bit down the road. I'm empathetic to that. I get it 100%. I was in that position when I was a freshman. But the difficulty is that if you don't define your life purpose now, you live someone else's. Think about that. If you don't have a coherent life purpose, it's not that you don't have a life purpose at all. It's that your life purpose is somebody else's, but you don't maybe even realize it. Purpose is incredibly powerful because you need something that hones in your conscious experience. What are you focusing on? What comes out as relevant in the myriad of things that could come out as relevant? Your purpose is the main thing that drives that. So if you're co-opting someone else's purpose, that is honing your entire conscious experience in college, potentially in a way that isn't helping you. So a huge part of journaling more effectively comes with understanding your own purpose so that you can hone your conscious experience in a way that really helps you pursue what you want to do in college, not what someone else wants you to do. Maybe what someone else wants you to do, but consciously, because you've thought about if that resonates with your life purpose. In my journaling kit, I call this building out your cosmic compass, which is the main direction through your college cosmos. It includes your life purpose and career, your values, your ideal self, attributes, skills, and more. Next level up to your journaling practice is scale up where you can apply journaling to. Sometimes I notice elite college freshmen think that they can only journal in a narrow bubble, like their day, but specifically only some parts of their day. Like I see a lot of relationship journaling, which is great. That's awesome. See a lot of journaling about difficulty studying. That's cool. But journaling can be so much more. You can apply it to everything. There's so many life domains out there that you could potentially apply it to. For example, health, your life purpose, your career, your friends, your family, your romantic relationship or relationships, your clubs and community, your classes and studies, your environment, your personal growth, your play and joy, as I like to call it. Or if you want to get really deep, as we do in this channel, which is what I'm ultimately trying to push you to, journaling about spirituality. This is ripe, all of these for journaling. And one of the most powerful journaling questions you can ask is, where do I fall out of 10 on each of these life domains in terms of satisfaction right now? And that's incredibly powerful because it helps you hone in on what life domains you want to focus on over the next few months. Because if you try and focus on all of them, then you focus on none of them. And it helps give a framing to your journaling. Okay, if my health isn't as high as I'd like it to be, that's what I'm going to be focusing on inside of my journaling. Or maybe it's personal growth that isn't where you want it to be. So I'm going to focus on personal growth inside of my journaling, and so on and so on. So it gives a really helpful frame to all of your journaling practice. The fifth level up is I want you to start seeing journaling as stop seeing it as a routine and start seeing it as a reflection mindset through which you come to all of college. Sometimes I see students journaling at the end of the day or in the morning, but no other times. And that's so fair. That's a great starting point when it comes to journaling. But the problem is that often when they sit down, they get blank page paralysis because what do they write? Right? Maybe their day wasn't as eventful as they thought. And they just don't see the point in journaling about it. And this ultimately leads to potentially falling off of journaling because there's not a seen purpose or usefulness. And what I like to say in these moments is that doing journaling like that, where you just relegate it to one point of your day, is kind of like putting a plant in the sun for only 10 minutes and expecting it to grow. If you're thinking of journaling as only happening during the journaling itself, then of course, once you start journaling, it's going to be difficult for things to come up. What I'm trying to get you to do with this level up is adopt a reflection mindset throughout your entire day. In other words, put the plant in front of the sun the whole day that it's happening. This doesn't mean you're journaling the whole day, but it means you're coming at your day with a reflection frame. You're asking questions like, what is coming up in my consciousness? What emotions, what thought loops, what behaviors, what limiting beliefs potentially? Why is that coming up? And how is it affecting me? And then once you actually get to the journaling, you've already gone through your entire day with that frame. So it's so much easier to sit down and write because you've done all this thinking beforehand. Now, it's important to avoid over-reflecting because this is something I definitely fell prone to for a while. I would get so into this stuff, as you can see, I love talking about it, that I would intellectualize everything. I would be journaling so often that I distracted myself from actually acting and creating more things to journal about. Because there comes a part where you're reflecting so much that you're reflecting on your reflecting. And that's not good. Now, I often get asked when I say this, how do you know what to journal on? If you're coming at a reflection mindset for your entire day, then how do I even pick? And the way that you can hone in on what to journal is using your intuition. This is something that many students don't have direct access to because it's not something that we're taught in school or even by our parents or friends. But the intuition is an incredibly powerful manner for accessing insight about your life. And the reason for that is you're leveraging, in a sense, your witness when it comes to your journaling. Because you have yourself, which is just wrapped up in everything that's happening throughout the entire day. And then there's this witness, which technically doesn't have any attributes to it because it's just the awareness behind everything. But you're sort of like tapping into its intelligence when you slow down and you breathe in and you just try and feel in a felt sense what is being called to journal on. That's how you know what to journal on. Your intuition knows what to journal on. It might take a few days for it to come out with certainty, but the act of doing this reflective mindset throughout your whole day will help it build that clarity over time. It's sort of like your subconscious is working for you on the sideline. And then when you sit down to journal, it just starts erupting with insight. It's incredible. The last level up, and probably the most powerful, because I wanted to save the best for last, is to go from level 1 journaling to level 4. This is something that I go into extensively in my video on why journaling isn't growing you, which you can check out up above. Journaling didn't grow me nearly as much until I started embodying all 4 of these levels. And the sad thing is that most students only know that level 1 exists. They don't even know that there are 3 other levels. So briefly, level 1 is daily journaling, which is sitting down, journaling about your day, what emotions came up, what thoughts came up, but not much else. And this is a great starting point. The problem is that if you only journal about your day, you never get the deeper insight that comes from journaling in why and how questions. And that's where level 2 journaling is, which is reflective journaling. You start asking questions about your day, like, why did I feel the way I did? Why did the thought loops that came up did? How did this person affect me? This friend of mine, this teacher? Where is that coming from? Is it from a childhood experience? From something else? And where might that lead me to in the future if I continue in this frame? Level 3 journaling is where we take that, the insights that we get from reflective journaling, and now we actually start making decisions using it. Importantly, decisions that are consciously and authentically made. Because if we're not careful, we can make decisions thinking that they're our own. But just like we talked about with the whole purpose thing, they might be conformity decisions that we don't even realize are conformity. So decision journaling is where you're not only taking the insights from reflective journaling, but you're trying to ensure that you're making decisions rooted in that authenticity, not rooted in conformity, which might still mean doing the quote unquote conformist thing because you consciously think about it. You realize maybe your parents say that you need to do this major and you're resisting that because you're more passionate about this other thing. And a lot of self-improvement people will say, oh, do what you're passionate about all the time, which generally is a good advice. But the problem is that maybe that's not practical, right? I'm super lucky in that I get to do what I want because of my relationship with my parents, but not everyone's in that situation. So maybe you consciously reflect through journaling and you realize, okay, unfortunately, I do think I should and need to do this major that's being put on me, but I'm doing so with a consciousness instead of just kind of doing it just because my parents said it. Now, level 4 journaling, I'm not going to spoil. It's very deep. It's very powerful. It's the most incredible form of journaling. But if you want to learn what level 4 journaling is, then I highly recommend, if you liked what was in this video, you check out my College Freshman Cosmic Journaling Kit. It's a free gamified journaling system that includes over 1,000 journaling questions and 5+ journaling templates to help you do all the level ups that we just described here and eventually get to level 4 journaling, which is revealed inside of the journaling system. So if that sounds fun, check it out in the description below. I hope this video was helpful. As always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Eat some peanut butter, and bye-bye.